Hello everybody, before I start this video off, I just want to give a shout out to Rob over at Fantasy Grounds. He's done a very good job on his tutorial on how to do pretty much exactly what I'm about to explain to everybody. I'm just going a little bit more into personally what I do because I also hook my Spotify through everything. And also I wanted to do an updated one for Fantasy Grounds Unity. It's pretty much exactly the same except it's using different extensions. So I wanted to put out this video and also give links to the updated extensions and whatnot. So huge shout out to Rob, and I also want to give a shout out to Celestian on the Fantasy Grounds forums for making the Audio Overseer extension that we're going to be using today. But apart from that, everything else should be exactly the same as Rob's video, so feel free to jump over to that. I'll leave links in the description to all of the forum pages for the extensions. I'll leave links to the VB audio cable that we'll be using, as well as VoiceMeeter, and also the Discord download link, and also a link to Rob's tutorial for this, which he does one that's set up for streaming as well, because he uses VoiceMeeter Banana instead of the standard VoiceMeeter. And thank you all for watching. Hello everybody, and welcome to my tutorial for getting sound from Syrinscape to your Fantasy Grounds Unity smoothly, as well as background sounds, audio cues, and detecting text in chat, and playing sounds for those various things to spice up your Dungeons and Dragons gameplay. So to start this off, we're going to need a few things. First being Discord, of course. This is all going to play through Discord. You're going to have two Discords active, one for yourself to listen and talk through as a DM, and the second is going to be your public test build Discord, which is going to be your second Discord, which we're going to use as a music bot. So, first things first, Discord's easy enough to get, so is the public test build. If you go to this link here, you'll come to Discord's main page, which you'll have the download now for your normal Discord. And just right here, you've got the public test build. So you can create two different Discord accounts and log into your server. I'll bring up what I've got here now. So you've got your normal Discord here. And then you've also got your second Discord. That's good to go. You're also going to need VoiceMeeter. You can get just the normal VoiceMeeter. You can get Banana, which helps, I believe, with if you're trying to set this up with streaming as well. But otherwise, just the normal VoiceMeeter is fine for your standard game needs. It's a free install. You can just download the exe, run it, install it. Just going to install a heap of stuff and then probably do a full computer restart is the best way to go about this. So once you've downloaded and installed that, you're also going to need VB audio cables. Now this is where the money comes into things. Doesn't cost much, but if you go to the website, scroll down a bit here, we're going to need virtual audio cable A and virtual audio cable B. You just have to make a small donation. Unfortunately for Australians right now, our dollar value is pretty scuffed right now. So just keep that in mind when you're making US dollar transactions. Once you've donated here, you'll be able to download VB cables A and B, and you'll install both of those. And we'll also go to the Syrinscape website. This is one I didn't have pre-prepared. So if you go to the Syrinscape website, you can just download their your standard Windows or Mac version. I don't have an exact tutorial for how this is going to work on Mac. This is for Windows. I'll probably pre-specify that earlier. So once you've got that, we're almost good to go. So we have our Discords, our Syrinscape, our VoiceMeeter, Spotify, optional, but I would recommend it. Obviously, for immersion purposes, you're gonna want to get that Spotify Premium, so you don't have ads every, second or third background music. So once we've got all of our tools, now comes the setup. And of course, before I forget, Fantasy Grounds Unity. The app we're using is Audio Overseer, and I'll include links to all of these, of course, in the description. This guy's done great work on making this for Unity so soon as well, so I'm really happy that that's finally come out. So now into the nitty-gritty of it. Once we've got all of this, you're going to want to do a full computer restart, just to make sure everything's installed properly, especially when it comes to the VB audio cables. And you're going to want to go into your control panel. I have trouble finding this just from search bar, so I like to do it from control panel. And you're going to want to go into hardware and sound, and then manage audio devices. We'll bring this up on screen. So once you've got everything installed, you should see you've got your cable A, your cable B, and your voice meter. And if you go on a recording, you should have the same, but the outputs instead of the inputs. Once we've got all of that up, we'll open up our Discords, and we'll go into the settings on both of them. And here you're just going to want to match my settings. So first off, in your main Discord, you're going to want your microphone as your primary input device. You're going to want cable A input as your output device, and you might want to watch this before changing everything, because this will screw up your audio until we're finished. So probably hold off on doing this, just kind of keep it in the back of your mind, and once we get a bit further into the voice meter bit, then you can go back and do all your settings. And then on our music bot, we're going to want cable B output as our input, and in output device we're going to want cable A input. And you're also going to want to set your decibel detection. You definitely want voice activity, and you want your decibel detection to negative 100, because with this method we do have a few problems with sounds hitting low tones and high tones. This negates as much problems with the low tones as possible, but I find with music that kind of sits in the middle and doesn't very highly sharp up and down, you don't have problems with. But for music that has really big highs and really low lows, it tends to cut out a little bit, but you don't have too many issues at all, so it's pretty decent. So that's the Discord setup, once you've got your account set up. Alright, now we're going to want to set up our voice meter. And once you've done this voice meter, you can go and change all of your Discord settings, and you should be good to go. So here, I've already got this set up. So again, you just have to mimic my settings. Your first bit here, you can just click on this little arrow to give you a drop down. You just want to tick your microphone. Second one, you want to set to cable A output. Third one, can't change it, doesn't change. Fourth one, you want to set to your speakers or headset, so whatever you're listening to. Cool, that's all done. If you want, you can even save that, so that it usually saves by default, so you don't need to worry too much, but you can kind of save it, and I keep mine in here. I also keep a little cheat sheet just to remind myself of everything as well, so that's something to look at as well. So that's all good to go. So that's your voice meter done. Once you've done that, you'll want to come over to your sound settings, and you're going to want to set your primary output to VoiceMeeter input. And you want to set your input to VoiceMeeter output. So now all of your computer sounds and your microphone are going through VoiceMeeter. And then we can now route everything else through that. Now comes the juice of it, the Syrinscape and the Spotify. For this, we're going to want to go into, should be here. Here we go. So app volume and device preferences. Whenever you start up your Unity and you're prepping for your session and you are preparing to open up Syrinscape, there's two ways you can go about it. The first way is just in your app volume and device preferences. You go to Syrinscape and you make sure that that is set by default to cable B input. Alternatively, whenever this is before you open Syrinscape, so we'll close Syrinscape, you go to cable B input, set as default, cable B output, set as default, and then you open up Syrinscape, you wait for it to load, however long it takes. You want to wait until these little symbols pop up right here, until it's fully open. There we go. So now Syrinscape's fully open. You go and you set default back to these. But I've heard that this method, just having it always set to cable B input, also works very well. So that way you don't have to swap it every time. Now if I go back in here, you can also just go to your sound settings and go to app volume device preferences down the bottom here. So I just had to play something from my Spotify for it to pop up. That was really strange. Once your Spotify's up, it'll usually be on default. And if you play anything from it, it will just play to you and not through your bot. So very simple fix, just set it to cable B input. So anything you put to cable B input will come through your Discord bot. Simple as that. So now we have Syrinscape sounds going through your Discord. We have Spotify going through your Discord. If you open up your Fantasy Grounds Unity with your Audio Overseer installed. If you go to Library, you'll have this nice little audio tab. Make sure that's ticked, so it'll come up here. You can then click on that. And I'll do this from the get-go. So you want to add something in this first section. And if we open up Syrinscape, we go to this little cog, and we go to third-party app integration. We want to enable that. And we'll take something like Force Missile, and we'll click the little plus. That's going to copy it to our clipboard. And we go to source 1, and we just paste that whole line of text that it copied for us there. And we can just call this force. And once we've got that, we can go to triggers. And this is going to be where we set all our juicy chat strings, so that every time someone says something in chat or plays an effect in chat, casts a spell, a melee attack, we can have certain audio cues ready for that, for all of our immersion. So you can set any name for it. That doesn't affect anything. For the actual sound itself, you just drop and drag into this section. and there is a much better tutorial of this specific section on the forum, which I'll leave links for. And you just go to matches, and then you type into that specifically what you want it to search to find and play that effect. If you want multiple things, for example, you want a melee effect and you also want force, they will both have to appear in the same line and it will play that effect. So, for example's sake, if we just click this, and I'm not sure if my recorder will pick this up, but if we press this, it'll play our little sound that we've hooked up. And if we type in a chat something random, it's not going to play anything. If we type something like this, whoa, need to calm down there, I'm yelling. It'll play said sound. So you can set this up in a variety of different ways, but the tutorial on the forum will do a much better job of explaining all of that than I will. I won't go too in depth to that. This is just the setup of how to get to point A to point B for Windows, and that's pretty much everything. Once you've got all of this set up, you don't have to touch it. Obviously, to get any of your audio, you'll have to open VoiceMeeter, because now all of your audio on your computer is relying on VoiceMeeter being open, since we're routing everything through it. If you want to just break that, say you've finished your campaign, and you can't be stuffed opening VoiceMeeter every single time you open up your computer, you can just go to your sound and just set it back to your default, and that'll null and void all of that. And then for your Spotify, and whatnot, you can just go back to your device preferences, and you can just swap all that back to default. But otherwise, for D&D games, that's all you need. You can string up all your sounds, set all of your triggers, and then I'll also leave a link in the description to a Reddit post for a very good Spotify playlist for a lot of D&D background sounds. I'll leave that in there as well. And anything you play through Spotify will come through the Discord bot as well. So as long as you have all of your players in Discord, you're all set to go.